GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm CJ Waterhouse. The coroner is urging the city to expand swimming lessons after a rise in drownings, and overnight 2 shootings shook the east side. We'll also check traffic where moderate delays persist and today's festival lineup. Over to you, Jeff.
The Afro-Monde Festival returns this weekend at Parc Jean-Drapeau, featuring Afrobeat, jazz, and dance acts from across the continent, running from noon Saturday through Sunday night.
Tickets are available online and at venue kiosks, priced at $30 for general admission and $45 for reserved seating, with a family discount for 2 adults and 2 children.
The festival will also host a culinary market showcasing West African street food, with cooking demonstrations scheduled hourly, and a children's workshop teaching traditional drum rhythms each afternoon.
Lots to get to. Let's begin after a quick reminder. Afro-Monde Festival runs from Saturday noon to Sunday night at Parc Jean-Drapeau. Here are our top stories.
Quebec's coroner urges Montreal to broaden swimming lesson access after a sharp rise in drownings, with 51 deaths recorded this year versus 46 last year. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
Since the beginning of 2026, Quebec has recorded 51 drowning deaths, up from 46 in the same stretch of the previous year. The provincial coroner's latest report points to a shortage of swimming lesson slots as a key factor, noting that many of the victims did not know how to swim. A tragic incident last year claimed the lives of a mother and her infant in a residential pool, highlighting the need. In response, the coroner has formally asked the City of Montreal to expand access to swimming instruction, urging officials to create more classes and broaden eligibility. The recommendation comes as municipal leaders review public health measures to curb the rising tide of drownings. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Montreal. 2 separate shootings rattled Montreal's east side overnight, leaving multiple victims and prompting a heightened police response. Authorities are investigating both incidents as they unfold. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
2 separate gunfire incidents ripped through the east side of Montreal in the early hours of Saturday, just after midnight on August 7, 2026. The first exchange erupted on a quiet residential block near St. Louis Street, where startled residents called 911 as flashes lit the night. Within minutes, a second burst of shots rang out near the corner of St. Denis and St. Laurent, prompting a surge of police vehicles and an emergency response team. Officers cordoned off both scenes, collecting shell casings while canvassing the neighborhoods for witnesses. No arrests have been announced, and investigators say they are still piecing together what triggered the shootings. The city remains on high alert as patrols continue through the area. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, East Montreal.
A vehicle was torched in Montreal's Hampstead neighborhood early Saturday morning, August 8, 2026, in a deliberate arson attack that sparked a residential blaze. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
At dawn on Saturday, a fire ripped through a private driveway in Hampstead, reducing a parked vehicle to a blackened shell. Firefighters arrived to find the blaze already consuming the car and quickly determined the flames had been deliberately ignited. No occupants were inside and no injuries were reported, but the vehicle was a total loss. Police cordoned the area and are now treating the incident as a criminal act, searching for evidence of accelerants and potential witnesses. Residents reported hearing crackling flames late Friday night, but the fire only became visible as the sun rose. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities work to identify the person responsible. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Hampstead. Mayor Soria Martinez Ferranda's official car was seized after her partner was stopped for speeding despite a driving ban in Montreal. Police confirmed the violation led to impoundment. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
The mayor's official sedan was towed from the downtown parking lot after officers stopped her partner for exceeding the speed limit. Police said the driver was caught going well above the posted limit despite a court-ordered prohibition on any vehicle use. When the citation was issued, officers placed the car under seizure, citing the violation of the driving ban as the primary reason. The mayor's office confirmed the vehicle will remain impounded until the legal restrictions are lifted. No injuries were reported, and traffic was briefly rerouted around the site while the impound process was completed. Officers cordoned off the area, directing pedestrians away while a tow truck secured the car on a flatbed. Witnesses said they heard sirens before it was moved. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
St. Pie Council voted this week to place the 57-year-old Sanair racetrack under a land reserve, clearing the way for a potential new high school in the municipality. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
Council members in St. Pie voted this week to place a land reserve on the historic Sanair racetrack, a site that has hosted horse racing for 57 years. The reserve earmarks the property for a possible new high school, giving the town a location should the project advance. Officials said the land will stay unused while studies and community input continue. The move responds to growing student numbers, linking the racetrack's future to education. No construction schedule has been set, but the vote opens the door to further planning. The designation keeps the field undeveloped until a formal school proposal is approved, and residents will have a chance to weigh in during public consultations later this year. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Sanair. After tonight's drownings, we'll examine police forcing 3 youths off a schoolyard after a soccer game. Coming up next, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Police responded to a disturbance at Maisonneuve Elementary, using 2 patrol cars and 5 officers to remove 3 preteens from the courtyard after a soccer game. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
Police arrived at the Maisonneuve Elementary School courtyard just after 7 o'clock on August 7th, responding to a disturbance. 2 patrol cars pulled up and 5 officers stepped onto the concrete where 3 preteens were mid-kick in a soccer game. After a brief exchange, the officers asked the youngsters to leave the schoolyard and the children complied, moving away from the play area. A neighbor, Noam Arbiaoui, watched from a nearby sidewalk as the police escorted the group out. No further incidents were reported, and the school resumed its normal activities shortly after the police cleared the space. The incident unfolded in the Hochelaga Maisonneuve district, a residential area where the school serves dozens of families. Officers remained on site for minutes to ensure the area was secure before departing. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Hochelaga Maisonneuve. American firms are releasing hundreds of thousands of mosquitoes in Montreal to suppress invasive tiger mosquitoes that spread dengue, chikungunya, and Zika, a public health effort highlighted by Etienne Normandin. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
American biotech firms have begun aerial releases of hundreds of thousands of sterile male tiger mosquitoes across the city, aiming to curb the invasive species that spreads dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. The program, coordinated with researchers from the University of Montreal's Plant Biology Institute, will see the insects dispersed from trucks and drones in targeted neighborhoods. By flooding the environment with sterile males, the goal is to reduce breeding success and gradually lower the adult mosquito population that bites humans. Etienne Normandin, a senior scientist at the institute, explained that the approach builds on previous trials that showed a measurable drop in mosquito numbers within weeks. Officials hope the effort will translate into fewer disease cases this summer. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Researchers have confirmed a tornado struck the Montreal suburb of Repentigny on August 2nd, damaging trees and buildings in a rare Quebec event. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Researchers have now verified that the storm that battered Repentigny on August 2nd was a tornado, the first of its kind recorded in the region in recent memory. The vortex tore through a residential corridor, toppling dozens of mature maple trees, snapping power lines and ripping sections of roofs from homes and small businesses. Shattered glass littered the streets as emergency crews worked to clear debris and restore electricity. Meteorologists noted the funnel's brief but intense path, lasting only a few minutes yet leaving a swath of damage that officials are still assessing. The event is considered a rare occurrence for Quebec, where tornadoes are an infrequent threat. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Repentigny.
Journalist Jean-François Cloutier of Journal de Montreal has announced his candidacy for the Parti Québécois in the Montreal riding on the south shore of Montreal. Remy Gaudreau has the full story.
Jean-François Cloutier, a reporter with the Journal de Montreal, stepped onto a podium in the heart of the Montreal riding on Friday, 7th of August 2026, to declare his intention to seek the Parti Québécois nomination for the district. He outlined his decision to move from the newsroom to the campaign trail, citing a desire to represent the South Shore community at the provincial level. The announcement came as part of a gathering of local supporters, with party officials present to discuss the upcoming nomination process. Cloutier said he will file the necessary paperwork in the coming weeks and aims to bring his reporting experience to the political arena. Remy Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Police have terminated a silver alert after an 80-year-old Cowansville woman was located earlier today, ending the province's search for the missing senior. Remy Gaudreau has the full story.
Authorities in Cowansville lifted a silver alert on Sunday after an 8-year-old woman was located near her home. The Sûreté du Québec said officers responded to a report of the missing senior on August 7th and began a province-wide search. After hours of canvassing the neighborhood and checking nearby farms, officers found the woman sitting on a porch, unharmed and able to communicate. The alert, which mobilizes police, volunteers, and motorists, was canceled once she was confirmed safe. Officials praised the rapid coordination that led to the swift resolution and reminded the public that the program remains active for any future cases. The province's Silver Alert system, designed to quickly locate vulnerable elders, was invoked for the first time this week. Remy Gaudreau, GMNA News, Cowansville.
Now let's check the afternoon forecast and see what the sky has in store.
An advancing trough and southwest jet are reshaping Montreal's heat, setting up a cooler, cloud-laden afternoon. On this date, the all-time high reached 30.8 degrees Celsius in 2025, a late summer heat wave that pushed temperatures well above the usual 28-degree norm. The all-time low fell to 12.7 degrees Celsius in 2015, recorded during an unusually early autumn cold snap that saw nighttime chills far below the typical 20-degree low. Those extremes illustrate how the region can swing dramatically, even as today's climatological normals sit around 28 degrees for the high and 20 degrees for the low. The live radar shows a broad band of clear air over southern Quebec, with no echoes moving into the metropolitan area. High pressure aloft and a gentle southwest jet keep moisture confined to the north, so precipitation remains absent. The next disturbance is expected to arrive after midnight, sweeping through the St. Lawrence Valley early Thursday morning before exiting by dawn. At noon, Montreal sits under a partly cloudy sky with a temperature of 24 degrees and humidity 86%. A light southerly breeze at 8 kilometers per hour drifts across the city while pressure, though near average, is falling, signaling an unsettled system on the horizon. Overhead, the jet stream punches through at 79 kilometers per hour from the southwest, funneling any future moisture eastward. The UV index reads 6, and the maximum wind will climb to 13 kilometers per hour from the south later this afternoon. Temperatures will rise to 26 degrees by early afternoon, then peak near 27 as clouds thicken, before slipping to 25 degrees after sunset. No precipitation is forecast, and there are no active weather alerts. Tomorrow, Sunday, will break the cloud cover with a clear sky and a high of 28 degrees against a low of 19. Monday brings a cooler mid-week dip. Overcast layers return, temperatures holding at 26 for the high and 20 for the low, while a 45% chance of rain hangs in the western sector. Tuesday rebounds to sunshine, reaching 25 degrees at peak and cooling to 19 by night. Wednesday stays similar with a partly cloudy mantle, high 25 and low 19, and only a slight breeze. Thursday turns again overcast, the jet stream nudging a weak system across, delivering a high of 23, a low of 17, and a 35% rain probability. The pattern shows a gradual cooling trend as the week progresses. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic delays keep commuters moving, while the lineup features Under Pressure and Avenged Sevenfold with Good Charlotte plus sports prospects. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Major congestion continues in the Ville-Marie tunnel between Robert Bourassa and St. Laurent. All lanes are operating at reduced speed, and queues are spilling onto the adjacent boulevards. A similar hindrance persists in the Viger tunnel from Rue Panet to exit 5 on Boulevard Robert Bourassa, where traffic is backed up for several kilometers. On the South Shore, the Highway 10 reserved bus lane extension to the Champlain Bridge is under construction, slowing east-west flow for motorists heading downtown. The Mercier Bridge remains partially closed, with 2 lanes still shut, forcing drivers onto the remaining lanes and adding delays on the southbound approach. In transit, the Saint-Jérôme commuter train is out of service for the weekend, replaced by shuttle buses that run every 15 minutes between St. Leonard and Terminus St. Mitchell. Expect these conditions to linger through the afternoon, with no relief in sight.
Tonight the Bell Center erupts as Avenged Sevenfold teams with Good Charlotte for a high-octane rock show that's pulling fans from across the province. If you crave street vibes, head to Place des Festivals where Under Pressure rolls out live art, music and performances by more than 100 creators from around the globe. A short walk away, Clock Tower Point hosts Afro-Monde Festival, a lively celebration of African food, dance, folktales and carnival parades that brings the continent's spirit to downtown streets. Art lovers can still wander the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts to see Richard Avedon, Immortal, a striking collection of about 100 iconic photographs that probe fame and aging. And looking ahead, keep an eye on the Clock Tower Point next week when Orientalese launches a 4-day Eastern culture extravaganza, promising workshops, shows, and flavors from North Africa to China. And now here's Jason with sports.
Summer heat fuels a deep dive into the Habs, rising stars and hidden gems. 5 Canadians are primed to outshine their 2025-26 numbers, anchored by rookie defenseman Lane Hutson, who analysts expect to evolve into the league's top blue liner within 5 years. Hutson and forward Ivan Demidov also carry 2 of the NHL's value contracts, reinforcing Montreal's cap strategy alongside other max-length deals echoing the Panthers and Hurricanes. The latest Top 25 Under 25 list spotlights 9 Habs prospects who each logged a playoff appearance but still miss a full roster slot. Their NHL-level skill shines, yet gaps in size, consistency, or defensive responsibility keep them on the fringe, forcing Montreal to decide between further seasoning in the AHL or a rushed promotion. Training camp could deliver 3 surprise stories. Arbor Exekaj, whose refugee journey fuels his NHL dream, may earn a roster spot. A second unnamed prospect could break out. And Ville Koivunen's 8-year, $32 million deal may set the tone for Zachary Bolduc's contract negotiations, testing Montreal's cap flexibility.
Canadian National Railway, operating out of its downtown Montreal hub, is rolling out a $2 billion Canadian expansion that will reshape the city's rail corridor. CN, the backbone of freight movement across Canada, is adding new tracks, modernizing yards and boosting capacity to handle a surge in container traffic. The project will create hundreds of construction jobs now and long-term logistics positions once the line is live, while giving local manufacturers faster, greener access to global markets. For neighborhoods along the new route, it means quieter, more efficient service and a revitalized industrial corridor. CN's commitment reminds us that the steel rails beneath our streets are still the lifeblood of Montreal's economy. We'll hear the Premier insist U.S. liquor stays off shelves and see Canada's job numbers dip while Quebec's tick up. Stay tuned. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Fans of electronic music are flocking to Parc Jean Drapeau as world-renowned trio Above and Beyond prepares to unleash a high-energy set, turning the island into a massive outdoor rave. The atmosphere is electric, with thousands of revelers waiting for the beat drop. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, CJ Waterhouse. I'm standing on the grassy knoll near the iconic geodesic dome, where a sea of glowing wristbands pulses in time with the summer night. The scent of grilled street food mingles with the crisp lake breeze as fans of all ages clutch their tickets, eyes fixed on the towering stage set against the skyline. Above and Beyond's lights flicker on, painting the canopy with electric blues and magentas, while the crowd erupts in a collective cheer. The trio launches into their signature anthem, the bass reverberating through the concrete and into the heart of each listener. Between the familiar tracks, they tease new melodies that send waves of anticipation through the audience, proving why they remain a staple of the electronic scene. This gathering isn't just a concert, it's a shared moment where strangers become a community, united by rhythm and memory. Carl Dumont virtually at Parc Jean Drapeau. Welcome back. Quebec Premier François Legault reaffirmed that U.S.-origin spirits will continue to be excluded from SAQ shelves despite federal talks of easing the ban. The province maintains sole authority over the decision. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Premier François Legault reiterated this morning that American-origin wine, spirits and beer will continue to be excluded from the shelves of the province's government-run SAQ stores. He dismissed recent reports suggesting a forthcoming federal shift that could allow U.S. products to re-enter the market, stressing that any change rests entirely with Quebec's own authorities. While Ottawa is reportedly preparing a response to U.S. pressure to lift the long-standing ban, Legault said the province will not follow suit without a clear provincial decision. The stance keeps Quebec's liquor policy unchanged despite speculation that a national adjustment could soon make American labels available to Canadian shoppers today. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Canada's overall unemployment rate fell after the creation of 75,000 new jobs, while Quebec's rate ticked up modestly. Statistics Canada released the data on August 7th. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
75,000 jobs added this year have pulled the national unemployment rate lower, according to Statistics Canada's latest release on August 7, 2026. The overall figure slipped by a fraction of a percentage point, while Quebec's rate inched up slightly despite the new hiring. The national drop measured just a few tenths of a percent, whereas Quebec's uptick was similarly modest, barely a tenth of a percent. Economists note the modest rise in the province reflects regional variations in where the positions were filled. The data shows the country as a whole benefiting from the fresh employment, even as Quebec experiences a small uptick. Across Canada, the job gains are spread across sectors from manufacturing to services, helping to trim the headline unemployment number. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the lunch break. Tonight's reminder from the coroner about expanding swimming lessons really hit home. Stay safe, stay curious, and keep the conversation going. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Until then, take care.